Today, Jimmy Donaldson, known to the world as MrBeast, is the undisputed king of YouTube. He's the first content creator in history to reach the billionaire status, with Fortune magazine estimating his net worth at $2.6 billion in 2026. He owns Feastables, a snack empire sitting on Walmart, Target, and 7-Eleven shelves across America. He created Beast Games, a record-shattering show for Amazon Prime Video that became the most watched unscripted series in the platform history. He gives away private islands, funds medical procedures that restore sight and hearing to thousands, and has planted over 20 million trees. But if we go back to 2013, the story looks very, very different. Back then, Jimmy wasn't a celebrity. He was a frail 15-year-old kid in Greenville, North Carolina, who could barely get out of bed. He had just been handed a medical diagnosis that threatened to end his life as he knew it. How did he go to struggling to get 100 views to getting billions of views every month? Welcome to the Chapter to Success podcast. Today we will talk about the life of Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast. Chapter 1, A Childhood on the Move. Jimmy Donaldson was born on May 7, 1998, in Wichita, Kansas. His story doesn't begin with a silver spoon. His mother, Sue Donaldson, served in the military, and because of the demands of military life, the family moved frequently. During Jimmy's early years, he moved to 3 different cities before he was even 7 years old. Home was a rotating series of new towns, new schools, and a new classroom full of strangers. Then, in 2007, his parents divorced. It was not an amicable separation. Sue would later describe years of abuse during the marriage and a near-fatal confrontation that finally pushed her to leave. From that point on, she raised Jimmy and his siblings alone. And then, on top of all of this, came 2008. The financial crisis that hit the Donaldson family really hard. In Jimmy's own words, they were over-leveraged. They had used properties to acquire more properties, and when the market collapsed, they lost basically everything. Sue was suddenly a single mother, working 2 jobs to just keep the lights on. Jimmy would come from school to an empty house because by that hour, his mom was already at her second job. It was, as he would later describe it, a lot to process. This constant movement, this instability did something to Jimmy. It made socializing feel impossible. He never had the time to build a real friendship before they had to pack up and leave again. So instead, he retreated into himself. He retreated into Legos. He would spend hours, sometimes entire days, alone in his room, building entire cities from scratch. His mother described this level of focus as obsessive, and remember this word because obsession is the central theme of this entire story. When the family eventually settled in Greenville, North Carolina, Jimmy found a new passion, baseball. He became serious about it in a way that most kids his age simply were not. He wasn't just playing for fun, he was training, he was the kid staying after practice. He had the drive, the discipline, and the work ethic, but quietly, in the background, also a second obsession was forming. During his free time, Jimmy discovered YouTube. This was around 2012, where very few people actually made money out of YouTube. No polished studios, no billion-dollar creator funds, no clear path to making it a career. There was just a 13-year-old kid who registered to YouTube using the username MrBeast6000, a name randomly generated by his Xbox. He started by uploading commentary videos of himself playing Minecraft and Call of Duty. He had no views, he had no subscriber, he had just a second-hand laptop that crashed every time he tried to render a file. But that kid had something most people don't. He was completely obsessed with YouTube, and he liked doing videos so much that he was never going to quit. Chapter 2, The Knife in the Stomach. In 2013, at 15 years old, Jimmy started getting sick. Not a cold, not a flu, something far more brutal, an agonizing, persistent pain in his abdomen that wouldn't go away. He began losing weight at a terrifying rate, dropping from a healthy 180 pounds down to 139, and remember that he is 6'3". His illness was Crohn's disease, a chronic inflammatory bowel condition with no cure. For Jimmy, the impact was devastating. He was too weak to play baseball, he was too exhausted to go to school most days, and he spent months cycling in and out of hospital, trying to find a treatment plan that worked for him. But here is where the story pivots in a way that nobody could have predicted at the time, because maybe, and just maybe, the disease was a blessing in disguise. Without Crohn's disease, Jimmy might have become a professional baseball player. He had the drive for it, but because he suddenly couldn't play, because he suddenly had nothing but time and a bed and a screen, it took that obsessive personality and redirected 100% of it to the only thing that he could do from a bed: study YouTube. Chapter 3: The College Dropout. High school graduation brought a new crisis: parental expectation. His mother, Sue, because she was a first-generation college student, believed in the traditional path: go to college, get a degree, get a job, be stable. But Jimmy wanted none of this. He didn't want a 9-to-5, he wanted to be a YouTuber. To keep the peace at home, he enrolled at Pitt Community College, but Jimmy had a secret plan. He never intended to finish a degree. Every morning he would tell his mom that he was heading to class. Instead, he would drive his car to campus, park, and pull out his laptop and edit YouTube videos. This was the era of what Jimmy would later call the daily masterminds. He had connected online with other smaller YouTubers, guys just like him, who were absolutely consumed and obsessed by YouTube. They talked about the CTR, the click-through rate of a video, they talked about the average view duration, they talked about thumbnail saturation, and all of these little things that could make or break a video. They would spend days on Skype calls together, running experiments with their video. They were treating YouTube like a science, and they were obsessed with finding its rules. After Jimmy started to earn barely enough to survive, like around 1K a month, he decided to tell the truth to his mother. He never went to college, he was going to drop out, and he was going to move out next week. He moved into a cramped, cheap apartment with his childhood friend Chris Tyson. They had no money, no backup plan. Their only goal was to create the best videos possible. Chapter 4: The Viral Breakthrough. For years, Jimmy tried everything to go viral. Life hacks, gaming, skits, commentary, nothing worked. The views were coming in, but nothing was going really viral. Every day he was busy creating content, and his friend Chris showed to him an episode of Naruto. And Jimmy thought, how can I make a video while I watch more of this? So, in January 2017, Jimmy sat down in a chair, pointed a camera at his face, and said that he was going to count to 100,000. It sounded simple and uninteresting, but nobody has ever done such a thing before. The task took him 40 hours, and for all this time he watched Naruto. And he had to speed up a portion of the footage just to get it under Adobe video limits. The video went nuclear, and by the way, right now it is at 33 million. The internet had simply never seen anyone willing to suffer that much for what appeared to be a completely pointless goal. And Jimmy doubled down on this kind of content that was working. He followed up this video by watching a Jake Paul music video on repeat for 10 hours. He read the entire dictionary out loud on camera. He said the Logan Paul name 100,000 times. Each video was a new experiment in the limits of human resistance, and each one of these videos attracted more viewers and more subscribers. He had just found a winning formula for YouTube. Be willing to do things that no sane person would do. Chapter 5: The more you give, the more you receive. As the views grew, so did the other revenue. Jimmy started making a few $1,000s a month. Most 19-year-olds in his position would have bought something for themselves, a better apartment, some new clothes, maybe a car. But Jimmy did something that would permanently change his brand and arguably the entire landscape of digital philanthropy. He received his first significant brand deal with Quid that proposed to him $5,000. And Jimmy, instead of immediately accepting like every small YouTuber would have done, he said that he wanted $10,000 so that he could give that to a homeless person. He went out on the street, found a homeless man, and handed to him literally 10K. The video was heartwarming, shocking, and it was one of the most viral things anyone had seen on the platform. Personally, I remember about that video. Jimmy had a revelation at that moment. He realized that he could invest all the money that he earned in one video in the next one and keep this perpetual cycle where the money and the subscriber will keep to grow. Every dollar spent on a video was an investment in the channel's growth. He gave away $30,000 to random Twitch streamers with 0 viewers. He tipped pizza delivery drivers $10,000. He handed out cars to strangers on the street. He paid off people's mortgages. The more he gave, the more he grew. The more he grew, the more he could give. He wasn't just a YouTuber anymore. He was a kind of a digital philanthropist. Chapter 6, Scaling the Channel. By 2019, MrBeast was no longer a kid in a cramped apartment. It was a brand. Jimmy moved into a massive warehouse in Greenville, North Carolina, and started building a team. The most known of this team are Carl, Chandler, and Nolan, alongside the professional editors that he recruited from around the world. The stunts evolved with the budget. He built a real-life Squid Game set in 2021, and the videos ended up costing a total of $4 million, which then inspired the idea that would eventually become the Beast Games. He purchased an entire island just to give it away to a lucky subscriber. He spent 50 hours buried alive in a coffin. He recreated Willy Wonka's factory. Every video was a cinematic event. And here is what made Jimmy fundamentally different from every other creator at his level. He was reinvesting nearly 100% of his revenue back into the content. He said it plainly in interviews that he doesn't care about branded clothes or fast cars, but he likes to invest his money for better videos. He wasn't competing with other YouTubers anymore. He was at the level of Netflix and Disney. In October 2023, he surpassed 200 million subscribers. In June 2024, he surpassed T-Series, the Indian music label that had held the title for years, to become the single most subscribed channel on all of YouTube. Chapter 7, The Philanthropy. While the videos got bigger, Jimmy was simultaneously building something quieter and more lasting on the side, a genuine philanthropy empire. In October 2019, he co-founded Team Trees alongside the creator Mark Rober. The goal was to raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees for the Arbor Day Foundation. High-profile donors included Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey contributed. The fundraiser hit its target by December of that year. Today, Team Trees has raised over $24 million. Then came Team Seas in 2021, as always co-founded with Mark Rober, a fundraiser to remove 30 million pounds of trash from the world's oceans, in partnership with the Ocean Conservancy and the Ocean Cleanup. That campaign has now raised $33 million. And in 2025, he co-founded again with Mark Rober Team Water for Water Aid, which has since raised over $40 million to provide clean water access around the world. He also launched the Beast Philanthropy YouTube channel in 2020, a YouTube channel where every dollar of ad revenue, every brand deal, and every merchandise sale goes directly to charity. That channel has funded the distribution of 10,000 turkeys in Greenville. delivered 20,000 pairs of shoes to children in Africa, built 100 wells in community with limited water access, and donated $300,000 worth of technology to school with limited resources. And then there are the medical videos. Jimmy has founded procedures that help 1,000 blind people see again, 1,000 deaf people hear again, and 2,000 people to walk again. He said that while it is easier to catch people's attention with negative emotions, he always wanted to use positivity over negativity. Chapter 8, the launch of Feastables. As the channel grew into a global brand, Jimmy recognized a critical vulnerability. YouTube ad revenue, no matter how big, could vanish overnight if the algorithm shifted, and that sponsor had no more money to pay him for what it was worth. He needed a physical product, a brand that could exist in the real world, independent of any platform. In 2022, he launched Feastables. He wanted a product that he could be genuinely proud of. He launched Feastables with the full force of his YouTube channel, hiding golden tickets inside the bars, giving fans a chance to win his chocolate factory in a real-life Willy Wonka competition. Today, Feastables is on the shelves at every Walmart, every Target, and every 7-Eleven in America. Chapter 9, The Beast Games. In March 2024, Jimmy reached the final frontier. He had conquered YouTube, he had conquered the chocolate and retail, and now he wanted the television. He announced a deal with Amazon MGM Studios to create Beast Games, a massive global reality competition series that would be exclusively on Prime Video. The budget was over $100 million. The contestants were 1,000 people from around the world, and the prize was $5 million cash, the largest single prize in the history of television and streaming. The Beast Games premiered on December 19, 2024. The prequel video on YouTube, where Jimmy eliminated 2,000 contestants down to 1,000 before filming even began, hit 50 million views in a single day. The show itself became Prime Video's most-watched unscripted series of all time, reaching 50 million viewers in just 25 days after the premiere. During the production, the show broke 44 Guinness World Records, including the most expensive season of a competitive reality show ever made. The show received a lot of critics, but what is undeniable is the cultural impact. On May 12, 2025, Amazon renewed Beast Games for 2 additional seasons. Season 2 premiered on January 7, 2026, and even featured a crossover with CBS Survivors, with the Survivor host Jeff Probst appearing as a co-host. A kid from YouTube had become so big that Hollywood came to him. Chapter 10, MrBeast Today. Today, Jimmy Donaldson is worth an estimated $2.6 billion, according to the Fortune magazine 2026 report. Beast Industries, his holding company, was valued at $5.2 billion in a 2025 founding round led by the investment firm Alpha Wave Global. Forbes ranked him the #1 highest paid YouTube creator in 2024. Time named him one of the world's 100 most influential people in 2023 and included him on their 2025 Time 100 Creators list. He has won the Stream Award for Creator of the Year 4 consecutive times, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. On Christmas Day 2024, he proposed to the gaming streamer T.A. Boysen, and he announced the engagement on January 1st, 2025. And in a statement that perfectly encapsulates who he is, he wrote publicly that he was borrowing money from his mom to pay for the wedding, because nearly everything that he earns goes straight back to YouTube and his business. What the story of MrBeast can teach us is that what may seem like a misfortune is actually part of a bigger plan. When Crohn's disease took his body, he redirected everything on YouTube. When his mother When his mother issued an ultimatum, he chose uncertainty over safety and turned that uncertainty into his fuel. And when he started to make money, he didn't waste them, but invested them back on his channel, making the bet on himself. He is the proof that the most powerful asset you can possibly have is not money, not equipment, not connection, not even talent. It is obsession, relentless obsession over a long enough period of time. He enjoyed doing videos so much that he didn't care if results weren't coming fast. This was his advantage, his incredible enjoyment for doing great YouTube videos. That right there is the blueprint of MrBeast, the secret formula for his success, enjoying what he is doing. And if you want to get far, you should also do something that you really enjoy. Thank you so much for watching this episode about the life of MrBeast. If you like this story, I also suggest that you watch the story of J.K. Rowling. I will link the video right here.